Hello, all. Welcome to Diary of a Disabled. It has been a couple days since I posted any videos. I've been just extremely busy visiting with friends, and yeah, I had quite the adventure yesterday, and then quite the day today. Oh boy, do I have a lot of updates. But of course, I'm going to do my dash cam on Wednesday when I go to my Cairo. So, whatever I don't see in this video, I'll update, in a couple days. I do try to post every day, but some days I post like one or two or three or four videos. Some days none, and sometimes I've done in a couple days in a row. I'm not really in a schedule. I'm disabled. I have a schedule and things in the life to do. I'm not, you know, that's why I do the dash cams a lot because it's just most convenient, honestly. Because when I'm not driving, I'm able to do other things that I enjoy and be around people and socialize and, uh, you know, chores, errands, things, business, trying to feel good, trying to be chronically happy. So, the biggest news that I got is I saw my primary on Friday and had my thyroid blood test done and zinc. My doctor was like really hesitant. He really did not want to order the zinc blood test. I'm like, come on, doc. We ordered the regular blood work the week prior and everything came back normal, and I'm like, well, what my normal? There's still stuff out of ranges that is still boggles my mind. I'm like, my body's trying to tell us something and I don't know what it is besides the untreated immune system issues. But honestly, with having so many autoimmune diseases, I'm just so feeling like crud almost all the time. That's almost like having a constant cold or flu almost. Just various things happen every day. um, uh, that I really don't pick up. I need to knock on some wood. I really don't pick up every little virus and stuff, but I really honestly don't go out much and do things in public settings. And I don't get super close to people. And the times that I caught COVID, one was I was in Vegas at that very height, at the beginning of COVID for the most part. That's how I got COVID the first time was Vegas. What happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas. COVID didn't stay there. It came with me back home to Oregon. Back in October 2020 was when I first got COVID. And then the second time was just recently in the last couple of months. I had documented it. It's in one of my videos in my past 100. I'm almost at the 200 video mark, and I just have to say I'm off topic, I know. I just want to say I'm super happy. I just hit 400 subscribers, guys. There's 400 of you that like me enough that want to watch me. Watch me be disabled and try and find the humor in life and the beauty in life and share what I have experienced with y'all and good, bad, the ugly. Alright, so my news, get back to the original story. It comes full circle. Boy. Sorry, I've been talking a lot, so I'm just super dehydrated too. And I didn't. Okay, I'm getting off topic. Okay, focus me, focus. I'm getting to the reason I think I can't focus very well. Besides, I don't take ADHD meds late in the day. There's no reason to. I mean, unless I really have a lot of stuff going on, and then I'll take a second pill in the day to help me stay focused. But it's always the mornings or the afternoons. I need to be the most. That's when I'm most productive. Late morning, early afternoon, and then anytime after noon, 1 o'clock, it's fair game. I'm gonna probably be napping or resting or just out of commission because I only last a few hours outside of bed and outside the house. But I forced myself to do that long. I forced myself. I was out all day yesterday. I drove 2 hours to a friend down on Blue Blue River, Oregon. So beautiful. So beautiful. And it's a part of Oregon that I haven't gone and like really explored and been in a whole bunch of, but it's a place I've always been like I want to go. There's not that many rock climbing adventures in that area, but still, Oregon is like one of the most beautiful states, and I've driven across the United States, the southern route, across I-10, all the way across like 3 times. I've driven the length of the United States 3 times, uh, and it was amazing each time. Quite the adventures, and always extra stops, and always got paid mileage in between my duty stations of transferring. I just, I worked the entire United States basically. I worked in the middle in Denver. That's not really the middle, but like landlocked. I grew up in Oregon with the ocean my entire life. So, it's hard not having the ocean. I love the ocean. So, but I experienced the Rocky Mountains and it was pretty awesome. Mile High City. I had the most sinus problems in my life in Denver. In Mile High City, the environmental allergies started really bad, and it was right after boot camp. All my I believe my body just couldn't handle all the vaccines I got in a short amount of time. With all my genetic issues, it just didn't sit well. It didn't work out with me. But my body put up a good fight for a long time. I mean, 9 years I lasted. 9 years with this stuff in the military with high impact and just high stress environment, and so much good and bad experiences. But I'm off topic. God dang it. Gosh dang it. Primary care doctor Friday. He didn't want to order the zinc, but I also complained about a rash and skin issues around the same time, and he's like, it could be rosacea. And I'm like, see, at least I finally got a doctor to admit to me that it looks like it could be rosacea the way it looked. But yeah, I haven't really had the inflammation in my face, but I've definitely had skin changes, and it's been very noticeable. I am so sensitive to everything. I'm so sensitive. Because I also have that bumps rash that started right here. My primary is like, it looks like some kind of contact dermatitis. I'm like, but I have it differently contacting my skin. Except for I did notice them because I felt like I felt them form. And it was in a tight fitting, non breathable bodysuit for a long amount of time. I was trying on my EDC outfit, so I'm like, great. So I don't know how much my body's gonna like that. My body does not like tight fitting clothes, and so we'll see how those bodysuits go and how long those last. I'm usually, especially in heat, I am wearing as little amount of clothes as possible because I have no temperature regulation whatsoever. That's why I'm so bundled up all the dang time in the winter in Oregon. And it was actually a really mild winter. This was a mild winter. And my skin hasn't really been that affected. I haven't had, like, okay, so if I am to have any skin issues, it's usually always in the winter time. I've always had major issues with, like, skin being too dry, being dehydrated. The dry air here sucks. But yet we're moist all the time with all the rain. That makes no sense. But you can tell I do not look the healthiest right now. I do not look that great, that healthy. I got these major indents here. Almost like a yellowing of the skin, I guess, but not quite. I mean, it's just lighting right here, It's going to my other lighting. See? But still, I have these major bags, so I'm like definitely in some kind of like skin thing. Some skin thing is not, my skin is not happy. My skin is like really pissed off at me. And it's just something that I supplement in my body. And in the past, I have had vitamin D toxicity, vitamin B12 toxicity, and now zinc toxicity. And it's all very similar symptoms. Um, it affects the skin. One of the first things I should have noticed, but I am so used to it, feeling like crap, I just attributed it to my regular feeling like crap. But now I have a freaking reason and understanding on why my stomach was hurting so bad. And I was very nauseous in the mornings after I took my supplements. And so I switched up my supplements and like took other ones a different day, and I cut out the glutathione when really it should have been the zinc. So I got toxic zinc. And so what I learned today about zinc, I did a little bit of a deep dive so I could figure out, okay, let's see if any of my symptoms line up with the zinc toxicity from my blood work. Wow, this explains my skin eruptions. It explains this rash. It explains my nausea that I was having in the mornings. And then it just stopped because my symptoms got worse. And my skin got worse over the last week drastically. And that can be attributed to long-term toxicity. I've been slowly having too much. But that's the reason I wanted to check, because I supplement and I know my body, and I know in the past when I have these weird symptoms, if it's not my immune system causing a problem, and I can tell I'm blood work and regular blood labs when it's my immune system that is messed up and I'm in a flare. And I know over the last 2 weeks I've been getting worse and worse with this rash and my face getting all red with the rosacea. It's zinc toxicity. Nausea. I didn't vomit. I'm too proud. I don't like to vomit. I've had GERD a long time, and I've been feeling some GERD symptoms too. Well, the other part of it, what I learned is when you get overloaded on zinc, it can cause a copper deficiency. So that is something else I might ask my doctor to test, and he's going to be really annoyed because I'm like, come on, doc. Even though I don't supplement with it, with my recent zinc toxicity, I just want to know. I want to know so I can associate it next time I ever feel like that again, so I don't get to this point. It's for my own future knowledge of experience and matching it up with labs to validate my goddamn spidey senses that I am so good at. I can tell the chiropractor exactly what to do, and he does it even though it's not something that's normally done, and I get fixed by it. I know my body. I'm the expert. I know when something's off. I just can't place it until I get tests. And thank goodness I convinced my doctor to tell me about the zinc, or to order the zinc. I don't know. I just had this weird instinct all of a sudden, like, you know what? I want to ask him to test. Well, for one, I wanted him to test my thyroid, but I'm like, okay, what have we not tested in a while? Vitamin D, which I have to pay for, and I really don't want to pay that right now. So I'm like, I cannot have that tested because I do supplement off and on. But I'm like, I don't know how imbalanced it's going to be, and I just don't want to pay for that test right now. It's just, I'm already a hypochondriac enough about everything, so I'm like, let's just leave that one out. And the other one was B12, and I think he ordered that, or I told him not to. I don't know. I don't know if all the test results have came back yet. He didn't take that much blood, or the blood person didn't take only two tubes. So, at least I see my doctor again this week, so now I can be like, okay, what kind of lab can we order this week? I love getting poked. I love to have labs ran. I love to be validated with my guesses. And I try to go in with no bias, though. I had no clue. I really didn't think I was zinc toxic. I really didn't. I was just out of curiosity. I'm just like, let's see where I'm at. But something was telling me. Something was telling me something just stood out zinc. And I'm like, it's the only thing we've not tested. And we haven't tested my copper either. And so I don't know if that insurance is going to cover that either. It's something I'm going to dive into tomorrow. That's going to be my topic of research for the day tomorrow, so I can learn something new, keep my brain working, and keep learning new things, to only educate myself and to spread the knowledge through my experiences of getting toxic with supplements and vitamins. You really got to monitor yourself. I am so sensitive. So sensitive. Okay. So what were my other stories I started to tell earlier that I interrupted myself to go back to the first story? I don't even know now. So, let's see, copper deficiency. And it can affect my thyroid more. So I'm glad that I got my thyroid tested at the same time as the zinc. So I'm a really good guesser, I guess. I don't know. I just I have symptoms, and your body, if you have something going on, it's just a sign. There's a sign that something's wrong with you. And a lot of people don't want to know. I don't blame them. I need to know so I can prevent further damage. I have good reason for my anxiety. I mean, how can somebody not get anxious about this kind of stuff because you're trying to do all the right things? I'm trying to support my poor dietary needs because I don't eat much of a variety because of my mast cell issues. Everything causes me discomfort and pain. In my stomach, especially. And I don't always know the reason why. But I usually end up figuring it out. I'm just too smart. There's a reason why my brain's too big for my skull. It's coming out the bottom. It's probably not a bad idea that I am shrinking my brain with the benzodiazepines. Which is another bad topic because I did do a deep dive into benzodiazepines. But I only looked into that because I saw a new doctor today, which is my other news. I'm really nervous about it still, and I started getting really anxious by the end of my appointment. I started off so good, guys. I started off so good. I think I made a decent first impression. I don't like that the way the appointment abruptly ended, but I think that's just his demeanor. It's nothing personal against me. I think that's just him. It's my first impression of him too, so I don't know. I can't gauge everything off of just one appointment. But what I do have to say is I'm so glad that my doctor referred me to this doctor. I was very hesitant. I have so much medical PTSD and anxiety surrounding new doctors. I didn't get a full night's rest last night. I don't think. I don't know. I need to check my Fitbit. I didn't look. But I'm so glad I got to see this doctor. He is an internal medicine doctor, which I've always known would be a great doctor to have on my side, to have one. But I chose a DO as my primary because I kind of wanted, a little bit more of an outside of the box thinker because they learn a little bit something different in medical school besides all the medical school stuff. So they have, I feel like, a little added knowledge. But still with Western medicine, I don't like Western medicine for the fact that it separates every specialty because it's all connected. I only have connective tissue issues. Everything's not connected all the way for me. It's all not connected, but it is connected. So, internal medicine. I didn't know there were so many different types of medical doctors as an adult. Like, I only recently learned about the different types because all I've experienced was the military doctors. I mean, after like having a family doctor at the age of 20, then I went into the military and then had just crap medical doctors that are learning on you. That's why I didn't mind being a lab rat too. I actually really volunteered for it. I really I've always had some medical curiosity my entire life. I grew up reading medical encyclopedias because I knew I was different. I just couldn't place it. But I was always sick too, so I mean, I had reason. I was trying to figure it out from childhood. And it took me 38 years to figure it out. 38 years, and now that I have it all figured out, it's almost like I wish I didn't know too. Ignorance could be bliss. I kind of know too much. And that brings me to today's doctor appointment. My doctor, as much as I was nervous, I started off well with trying to be quiet and not ramble and get to talking, and so high strung and just so anxious and breathing too shallow because I'm just anxious because I just don't know the outcome. But I didn't psych myself out today beforehand, which I'm so glad. I reached out and I talked to a friend for like an hour to 2 hours before my appointment. I got my support and I didn't need to take anxiety medication. I'm still trying to learn coping skills without medication. I don't want to be on it. It's so bad to do long term. I'm jumping back and forth between the doctor and benzodiazepines, but I'm getting to the point. There's a reason I'm bringing it up. Because it is a hard fine line, and I know I've talked about it before. Pain medication, benzodiazepines, they're so bad long term. I've been on them. Well, I've never been on benzodiazepines long term, and I don't want to be. It's just it's a temporary fix for me right now because I have so many other physiological things going on. I really hope from all my knowledge that I don't want to psych myself out and scare myself too much, but I also want to have that warning and that like alarm of like, I don't want this addiction. I don't want that withdrawals. I do not want the long-term effects that it can cause. And it's dangerous. It's just a bad idea. And I know this, and that's why I'm trying to be very cautious about how I proceed with taking them. Especially with my new medication that I'm going to be putting on tomorrow. It's a tough topic. But before I had my tethered cord surgery, I was on pain medication for 12 years, opioids straight, 120 pills a month. Like, it was so hard. And I went cold turkey off that. I went cold turkey off of them because the VA were being such jerks to me about being a drug seeker, and it's because they weren't helping me find the root to the problem. But yet they didn't want to help me cover it up because that's just how they got me addicted in the first place, is covering it up and not helping me figure out what was wrong with me. I had to figure it out in college. Sons of bitches. But thank goodness I went to college, because if I hadn't, I would not be where I am today. Knowledge is power. Information is power. Misinformation is bad. And I can only tell you all from my experiences what I've gone through and the knowledge that I've read and like learned. So of course I'm going to have my own opinion about things, but I have a lot of experience, and I've struggled not from the mental addiction, but the and not even the physical addiction. It's dependence, the tolerance. It's the I want that pain free. It's like I'm addicted to being in less pain. That's what it is. I'm addicted to being in less pain, and it's manageable pain. Because the pain meds don't take it away. They really help band aid it, though. Um, but that's not always a good thing. But since I'm so in tune with my body, I have to be able to numb it somehow and get that pain to just get manageable. I want to be out of bed, and that's what I told the doctor today. That's my goal, is I want to be out of bed more, and I want to get back into forestry and being outdoors again. He said, "That's your goal." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's also surgery." He kept not responding to me about surgery, and my doctor told me not to bring that up. But in my anxious state, I could not help my gosh darn self. I could not help it. My anxiety, and I was just a blabbermouth, and I'm like, "I'm sorry, it's the medical PTSD." He's like, "It's understandable." He was so compassionate. And these are tears of happiness because I'm just like, I was I always expect the worst because I've had such bad experiences with doctors. The way they've treated me, the way I've interpreted and responded to the way doctors have treated me. The lies, the putting things in my record and then me finding out about it later. It's so deceiving, and it's so backstabbing. It hurts to lose that trust in the people that you have the faith in that are supposed to help you. And all they do is make it worse with trauma. And so when I get a compassionate doctor, it is almost traumatizing because I'm just like, I can't believe I finally have a doctor that understands my medical history and looks at it and like really puts that into consideration with what I'm asking for with pain management. And even though my mom had a bad experience with them, I can see why. um, but I like that he treated me with respect. He gave me 1 ounce of respect and validation because he's like, "Have you seen Dr. Guggenheim? Was it her that taught you about mast cell?" Because I don't even know. It kind of blew my mind at the moment that I'm like, did I really talk about mast cell that much? Like, I use a lot of medical terminology that is just not normal for an average patient. And he was kind of blown away by my knowledge about stuff. And that just made me feel comfortable enough to allow him to treat me with what he wants to prescribe me. He tried to start with a couple options, and I was just like, no, it didn't work. I'm like, and the medication he brought up was Effexor, gabapentin. I've tried gabapentin, and Effexor. I don't know if I tried that one or not. I'm getting hazy now because it's been so long. Because I did a lot of medication trials and errors leading up to all the narcotics. Like, I tried not to get on narcotics. Like, I did not want that dependence. It's dependence because I really depended on being able to manage my pain through college. It was a lot of stress, and stress causes the pain cycle to be worse, the anxiety to be worse. Um, my mast cell issues got worse. Like, just the stress compounded everything. That's probably why I got more autoimmune diseases. Seriously. I don't know. I don't know. But once you get one, you usually get more, so it is what it is. um, but yeah, I really wanted to talk about this experience. I finally got some compassion. And I'm so glad that my doctor referred me to him. Because I don't know, I really don't trust a doctor's referrals a lot of the time either. But I'm allowing my doctor to refer me. And I'm working with him. And I'm doing everything that he wants me to do, even though I don't agree with everything. I'm glad that he listens, and I'm glad that he got me to this point. And I feel like it was only in my best interest and his to send me to the doctor I went to today. I'm very hopeful. I'm scared. I'm hopeful about this medication. So I've been building up to this point. It's a half hour now. Hold on. Drum roll, please. I am going to get on an expensive copay medication. I guess it's at $250, and I have to pay $100 of it because insurance is only covering $150. Like, I really got to get back into the VA prescription. F Medicare. F Medicare prescription plan. Fuck that. This is why I'm going broke. It's all this fucking copays on all these medications. Holy crap. Like, I was spoiled with the VA. Like, I realize how great the VA is now. Like, I do. I appreciate them. They gave me a lot of PTSD. But I freaking appreciate the F out of all the help I did get. I wouldn't be here without the VA getting me to this point, but I really could have done without all the trauma. Like, really. I could have done without all the trauma. Because it affects me so much more with my doctors now. It's so flippin' annoying. It really is. It's annoying to have these issues. But, so yeah, by the end of my appointment, I was in an anxious ball of stress anxiety until I started researching the medication. And I really do agree with the doctor's decision. As much as I'm scared, I am hopeful. I wasn't happy at first. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit with some another key point too. The doctor wanted me to tell him about some alcohol use disorder. I am blindsided again today. I had no idea somebody had that in my flippin' record. Which doctor said I had alcohol abuse issues? I told my mom, and she laughed just like me. I'm just like, are you kidding me? I don't drink. And this was put in my record in 2021. I quit drinking when I found out I had celiac disease for the most part, because I can't find a good alcohol, because for one, it's a mast cell trigger, and so alcohol, no matter what, is not going to agree with me. I found this out after years, but that's besides the point. I gave it up because it was just too hard to find, like, gluten-free stuff. I was a beer drinker. I loved beer. That's the biggest gluten thing ever. I was a heavy beer drinker in the Navy. But I also would get effed up on liquor, too. But there's so much controversy about whether distilled things are, the gluten-free or not. It was really the mast cell issues that were causing it for me, not the gluten that I thought was in the certain liquors. Like, I guess I can now retract my first bias about it because I really do think it's mast cell involved now. I do. For me in particular. I'm not saying for anybody else. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving any advice for anybody else but myself. This is my experiences. But alcohol just keeps me awake. It wires me. It's my ADHD. It has the opposite effect on certain things. Just like Vicodin, it wires me instead of makes me drowsy. That's all part of mast cell stuff too. Can be, but ADHD too. Which I don't know if those are really related. I don't think I've ever gone on a bender about deep diving on those two conditions together. It's not that important to know anyways, but I might get to that at some point if I get bored enough. This is the stuff I fall asleep to. Medical stuff, terminology, how bodies work. What diseases I have and how they can really affect a person. And using multiple sources to compile analysis and then come up with my own opinion after everything and with my experiences and what I've learned. I try to sum it up as best I can. When I got all my diagnoses at age 38, I got all of them all at once. And I'm like, I don't know which symptoms are coming from what. Now, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Sorry, I still gotta use my fingers. I'm diagnosed math dyslexia. Mathematics disorder. That's true. I have to like visually, like I have to like see it, say it, do it. Yeah. See it, say it, do it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm ridiculous tonight. I'm sorry. Not sorry. I'm not sorry at all. I'm being myself. And I'm trying to process everything still. Oh my gosh, my ring's bothering me now. The ADHD is bad right now. I think it's the zinc toxicity. It's really messing with my brain. That's not a good angle. My face looks fat and double chin there. I'm so cute though. Alright, I'm too sidetracked. Look at my face. So anyway, I don't even know where I was going. I'm brain fog. Like, all over the place. Can't focus very well. There's cognitive dysfunction with toxicity of zinc. But I bet it's also copper deficiency. I bet it's part of that too. I bet once I go looking into that, it's gonna be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That's why I'm feeling this way. Okay. My body's just sensitive. I can feel it all. I'm really happy that my doctor pointed out alcohol use disorder. Wow. I don't even know a doctor. He's like, why is that? I'm like, I don't know why it's in there. Just like there's a lot of other things in my health record that the VA put in there that I'm really unhappy about. That I'm just like, I need to let it go. It's part of my PTSD. I'm exposing therapy myself. I'm making sure I need to process that still. Effing bastards, though. I mean, that could really mess up treatment for me. Like, it could have really affected what that doctor prescribed me today. Makes me mad. Because I don't want certain things in my record, man. It's stupid. I'm not an alcoholic. I've never once have been. I was a drunk in the Navy because that's the only way I could decompress in port. And, you know, I got so symptomatic that it got me discharged from the Navy. That's when my thyroiditis, Hashimoto's kicked in, my celiac kicked in, and pain, chronic pain. age of 28, I did my 30-second medical history that my doctor told me to do for homework, to try and say my medical history in 30 seconds to the doctor. And even though that's not the way the appointment went, I was hoping and kind of expecting it to be more formal and just be like more boom, 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 boom. But he showed me compassion. He asked questions. I elaborated only on those questions until I got so anxious towards the end because he mentioned a medication I've never heard of. So I was going back to the pain management. So the doctor, he asked, he's like, did Dr. Guggenheim? Because he's heard of her. I don't know how he's heard of her, or her, if he knows her personally, or if he's worked with her, or if he's done. I don't know what he's done with her, but I think he knows the name, and I think he knows her, and I think it would be great that they have done work in the past. I can see that being a thing, and I can see that, yeah, he probably did. He might have learned something from her. I don't know. All I know is he just recently did pain management stuff at fellowship and got really into it, and I'm really glad because it was actually VA studies he gave me for telling me all about the medication, even though I could not process all the information he was giving me, because at that point my mind was in anxious mode because I had never heard of it, and I was hoping he would just prescribe me the Percocet that I was already on and just keep that going until I got surgery. I try my best not to set myself up for expectations, but I guess I did expect that's what I wanted. I was ready to be disappointed. But I never thought about even trying this medication ever. But I'm open to it because of my experience. And if he has in fact worked with my Dr. Guggenheim, she has EDS herself. And that's why I think if he has collaborated with her in conjunction with pain management studies, because he's like, she works in pain management, right? I'm like, yes. OHSU. And so if he hasn't worked with her, at least I think he's heard of her. So that's a good thing. And she pushed for a while for my pain management low dose naltrexone. So naltrexone was made for alcoholics. Oh, and you know what? I didn't put that together until just now. But I wonder if that's in my record in order to get my low dose naltrexone prescribed to me from a different doctor. I wonder if that is why it's now in my record. That would make sense if it was. Okay. I can be a little less mad if that's the reason. But I'm only guessing. And I'm just going to go with that. And I'm going to think the positive. Not the negative. Because that's the VA. And this is not the VA that did this to me. I know that because I stopped going to the VA. Well, maybe it was 2021. Maybe they did put that in my record. Maybe it was the VA. I don't know. It's besides the point. I am going to think positively, and I'm going to think. So regularly at naltrexone is prescribed at a high dose of like hundreds of milligrams. Well, in most recent studies, and a lot in pain management, they have been prescribing low dose naltrexone, which is like, so like regular doses like hundreds, like in the 200 to 300s, like if not even more, like it's like way up there, and they can titrate way, like I think they can go up to like 1,000 even. I don't even know. I didn't research naltrexone to that extent because I'm not taking it for that reason. I'm taking it at like a dosage of, I gotta check this on myself actually. It's very, very, very low, and I have to have it compounded because it's not made or authorized by the FDA for pain management, but it's used for pain management at very low doses. I am taking 2.5 milligrams. Boom, mic drop. 2.5 milligrams. And honestly, a lot of people in the chronic illness group and like long COVID group and like that kind of stuff, they'll take low dose naltrexone because it helps with the inflammation at low doses. And it honestly does. I was very hesitant and I was like, really? Really? This is an alcohol abuse drug and it blocks your receptors from being able to receive enjoyment from or getting the high or the drunk feeling from the alcohol. So that's why it's very effective in getting people off alcohol because you just don't get any effects of the alcohol. Um, I think it also makes you feel sick to your stomach too. So I don't know. I don't drink. And I don't take it with naltrexone. So I don't know. I do. Okay. So on occasion I do drink. And I did have a drink on that Cherry Pop and Daddy's night. I had one shot. Oh my gosh, my stomach hurt so bad. So I went home. I went home sick basically because I'm like, it didn't settle well. And it was within like 20 minutes of taking the shot. I felt like my slight buzz. I'm like, oh, I feel that. I don't drink that often at all. So I was like, oh, I shouldn't have drank that shot. I know I shouldn't have. And of course, I didn't feel that great the next day, and I didn't get the most restful of sleep, and it's not worth it to me. I'm like, it's not worth the socialization. Really, it's just not. It's not worth it to me. I don't like drinking. I don't like the hangovers I used to get all the time. Nah, it's not fun. It's not fun for me. I don't like it. Um, I prefer my medical MJ. I'll do that to socialize, but I do it more so I don't think about my pain all the time. It helps me, and that is also another wonderful thing I've got to say about the doctor I saw today. I asked him, I'm like, do I have to give up my medical MJ? I'm like, please don't. Uh, he's like, no. He's like, we can work around this. Um, he did ask me about the benzodiazepines that I'm on. Um, and I told him, I'm getting to the medication. I swear, 45 minutes later. Well, 47 now. Um, so it's so it kind of remind now that I've done the research, it kind of made me think of the naltrexone. I'm glad it did because now I put that together that it's probably put in my record so I can get that prescribed. It's probably some doctor's idea behind prescribing. I don't know. I don't know why, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't. It didn't affect me today because I corrected the doctor. I laughed at him. I seriously laughed at him. I was like, what? Just like that. I'm like, what? Uh, uh, I'm still like laughing my ass off. Alcohol abuse disorder, really? I don't drink. And when I do, I'm like, okay, that wasn't a good idea. I shouldn't have done that. uh, but I'm on so many medications, like, that's a real danger. Why would I want to add another central nervous system depressant to my already central nervous system depressants and benzodiazepines? Like, that's not safe, and I don't condone it, and I don't suggest it. um, so, finally got to it. He was putting me on, I can't even say the name of it. Like, Butrin, they're patches. It's not fentanyl. There's no way in hell you could get me to take that. I mean, I would have to be like end of life or something in order for me to agree to take that. Mm-mm, no. I've been on methadone before too. That was something the VA threw at me for a while, trying to get me to stop taking opioids, and I'm like, that stuff didn't make me feel any better. It didn't help me at all. It didn't help my pain. That's what they were prescribing it for. Which really, they want to be off the opioids, and they couldn't get me off of them, so they put me back on them. And like I said, I went 12 years on opioids because they just would not test me. They would not help me figure it out. I had to figure it out on my own. I diagnosed myself. All of it. I just needed the doctors to order the damn tests. Like, I really wished I could be like somebody back in the Renaissance or something, like doing experiments and stuff. Like, how did they do experiments and get to like chemists and put all this stuff together? Like, how? Like, why can't I be one of those people? Like, I want to figure stuff out. I can figure stuff out on my own for myself. I can see a lot of things in other people. Like, I can, like, when people are describing what they're experiencing, I'm like, I already kind of know what they're dealing with because I've already dealt with a lot of the same shit. I have a lot of problems, so I've experienced a lot, and I notice I notice when I see things in other people. But I don't know everything, and I'm not going to pretend to know everything. I, I only know what's good on me. I can't diagnose anybody else, but I have helped people get diagnosed. Uh, I've saved a couple people's lives already, and it's so touching to know. I talked to my friend that I saved her life earlier today. She saved my life by helping coach me to my doctor appointment. I read her everything that I wrote down. I'm like, how'd that sound? So I got some good feedback before I went. So that really, really did help me cope a lot better and help me stay calm for the first part of the appointment. But I'm so sad because I have been losing a lot of hair lately. And that is definitely another side effect of toxicity. I'm just going to go bald, more diseased, but I'm going to live till I'm 100. I'm going to get in less pain. I don't know. I feel like I just need to spread my experiences and my knowledge to everybody. And I hope I'm reaching as many people as possible. I hope I'm helping. Thank you for listening. This is a very long video. I had no idea it was going to be this long. But I'm just trying to process over the last few days. That's what these videos are for, helping me process and help me get the information out there. So, as much as I'm trying to help y'all, I'm helping myself. Thank you so much for being along with me in my journeys, shenanigans, and adventures ahead. Because I leave for Vegas in just 2 weeks, baby. I'm trying to prep for it now by staying up half the night. So I'm training for the festival so I can actually stay up. I'm trying. But man, it's hard. But I also need to get a lot of rest because I need to heal from this toxicity. I mean, I do not look good. I look terrible. This is what zinc does if you take too much. Don't do it. Don't do it, people. Definitely have your doctor monitor you. If it wasn't for me being so persistent with my doctor, I would have continued taking more and more, and I could have had way more damage and I think even death. I think it can kill me. So I'm so glad that I got my doctor to order the test. I know my body, and I know when things are wrong. Your body is trying to tell you, and it's just up to you to listen to it. And it's up to you to advocate for yourself and tell these doctors what you want and what you need. Don't let them talk you out of it. I could have killed myself with the zinc. I'm too overly sensitive. I absorb too much. I told that doctor today I absorb too much. But I'm going to be on buprenorphine. I don't know how to say that. I don't know how to say it. It's, I know it's almost like the Suboxone. It's like almost the same thing, but it's not. There's like one molecule or something. There's like one chemical property or something different between Suboxone and this. There's only like one difference, but they're the same thing basically. And it is a 7-day patch. I'm nervous, but I'm hopeful. So I just hope it's going to help my pain. I can give a shit about any withdrawals. I know it's not good on my body, but I just abruptly stopped taking my meds because I ran out. It is what it is. But I ran out on the day that I had my doctor appointment, so it's really not that bad. I just get really extra sleepy. And yeah, I just feel really run down and tired mostly when I go through withdrawals. My body on the regular with the autoimmune diseases and the stress, the fight or flight response that my body's constantly trying to be in because it's trying to stay tight to keep me stable. It's a vicious cycle and it's a hard balance, but do the best that I can and share my knowledge. They're dangerous medications. They're very addictive. I do not condone the use of them, but I understand they're helpful and they're needed at times. And I'm glad that I had doctors to help back me up when I needed them the most, because I did not get that kind of care from the VA at all. I mean, I eventually ruined all of my doctor and patient relationships with the VA doctors after a certain amount of time. After a certain amount of time, I had to move on. I had to fire my doctors and go to different VA centers because it seemed like I wore out my welcome with the doctor. And they just are so locked in with policies and politics and government. Government is government, and as much as I absolutely loved joining and being in the dang military, it's because of the camaraderie, and you're all in it together, and you're accountable, and that kind of stuff don't happen in the civilian world. And so that's why it's a big culture shock for veterans. I'm telling you, they don't know how to handle themselves when they get out, because they're like, society is not accountable for what they do. And we just can't wrap our heads around the non-accountability because we're held to a standard in the military, and we hold everybody above us to a standard, and then when they're not followed and adhered to, you're like, what? But there's so many damn policies and all the changes all the time. The VA can't keep up. And then they're always in meetings, and then they don't have the time for their patients. And then the whole politics just take over. They take over one by one. The bigger the population, the more BS. The smaller the VA, the better. Because they don't have all these strict, like, head honchos around them to, like, breathe down their freaking necks. The bigger the cities, the bigger the head honchos, and the bigger motherfucker looking over your shoulder, like right there. So smaller clinics get away with more, and they can actually have more old school values and listen to their patients up until a point. That's what I experienced. I'm not saying it's like that for everybody, but that's just what I've gone through. So I try to stay neutral, though. I'm like, I try not to lean any which way in politics, honestly. Uh, Society has changed the definition of the politics. they they really do. Society like really redefines everything all the time. And that's the one thing that's constant is change. I don't know if it's good change though. I haven't been happy with a lot of the changes in many years. So that's probably me just getting old and stuck in my old ways. That's all good. Uh, I love everybody no matter what their viewpoints. I have very many right and left leaning friends. None of that shit, yeah. I don't like I don't get I don't get political. I'm not a crook. Alright guys, I'm signing off. I need to get to sleep because these withdrawals are gonna start kicking in here soon. And I wanted to sleep through them. What do I got going on tomorrow? I got a online appointment at 11. Not bad. That's all I got. Peace out, y'all. I love you.